Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Barry Rubin. I am one of the wholesalers with SSQ. I cover both product lines for Ontario East and North. I'm happy to be here today to talk to you about our new simplified and guaranteed issue products that we launched at the end of June. So for those of you whose first time hearing this presentation, welcome. For those of you joining us again or who may have heard us talk about this product and are looking to get a bit of a refresher, also welcome. First off, I hope everybody is doing well and staying safe and healthy, and hopefully we're able to get back to a bit of normalcy soon, where I can then sit down with you in person and go through some products in more detail. But in the meantime, I hope that you do learn something today. Before I get started, I just wanted to touch on what Safina had mentioned earlier for those that weren't logged into the webinar yet. But Safina will be answering the questions in the Q&A section. So if you do have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A section of the webinar. For those questions that don't get answered in time today, not to worry, we will get them answered via email at the end of the presentation or sometime, hopefully before the end of the day. So with that, I'm going to get started. Hopefully everybody can hear me. If we do have any technical issues which have come up in the past, you'll get notified. And for those of you that do want to copy the presentation afterwards, we will be able to send a copy to you. I should also point out that in regards to the CE credit, it is important that you are on until the end of the presentation in order to receive this. With that, we're going to begin and talk again about our simplified and guaranteed issue products. And the goal at the end of the session, as far as what we'd like you to walk away with, is just understand that simplified products aren't just for the unhealthy. We hear about from advisors that they're looking to take their unhealthy clients and go do simplified, and their healthy clients, they're going to just stick with the traditional underwriting process. But we want you to understand that simplified products aren't just for those unhealthy clients. And we'll talk about that later on. Simplified products also can be offered at a reasonable price. And despite the fact that we're seeing some easing as far as the medical requirements and the relaxed underwriting, first of all, we don't know if there could be a second wave of the COVID. But the reality is the COVID pandemic has changed expectations and habits for a lot of advisors as well as clients. And the non-medical and non-face-to-face processes are likely going to be more prevalent going forward. So what I'm going to cover in the next 30 minutes of the presentation is the why behind our product design. I'm also going to cover why we chose the market segment that we did and how our simplified products align with our current product offering, and where we focus most of our time and energy when developing our new products. Our focus was on enabling the advisor to do what they do best while providing them with a product that can be delivered fast and profitably. That'll be the first half of the presentation. Second half, I'm going to take you through a live demo of the electronic application to show you how it's done. And then I'll also show you where you can actually see videos and tutorials on our website if you do want to take a look at this later on as well. So let's start at the very beginning. And the very beginning, and what I think is the most important when it comes to designing the product, is the client. And we took the time to do a research to better understand what clients are expecting in terms of insurance as well as their overall purchasing experience. And in fact, we hired the same marketing organization that handled the branding of our new company. And based on this research, here's what we learned. Life insurance is not something that people want to apply for, but they want to have. And, we hear it all the time that nobody wakes up in the morning wanting to buy insurance, but they appreciate its importance. And there was actually a recent LIMRA study that showed that there's been a significant rise in concern over life insurance over the past 10 years. And even leaving an inheritance has an increase in importance by 67% over the last year. We also saw in that same LIMRA study that 36% intend to purchase coverage within the next 12 months. Number two, price is important, but peace of mind takes precedence. Number three, clients have been trained to get what they want immediately. And, we look at the way clients do things now, and even ourselves, something like purchasing something online and using Amazon as an example. We're able to buy something and get it, within 2 days, we have it at our front door. If we want to watch a movie, we can easily go to a streaming service and download a movie, and it's instant. If we want to download a music album, we can, go to something like Apple iTunes and download and purchase an album, and it's on our device immediately. So, we've all been trained to get what we want right away. And again, talking about that Limerick study, even purchasing preferences have changed. We saw that 41% now want to meet in person, which is down from 64% about 10 years ago. And the preference to purchase online has actually increased from 17% to 29% over that same period. So with the understanding the appeal for a simplified underwriting process was important, we wanted to understand how we could best enter into the market with a product offering that meets the majority of Canadian consumer needs. We took a look at all the applications that were submitted at SSQ, and we saw that 80 to 90% of life applications are proof standard or better, both with SSQ as well as other carriers in the industry. But there's an increasing number of these individuals, as well as others that you can see on the screen. They get frustrated with the process during the underwriting and either withdraw or don't proceed with the coverage, and then look to the simplified issue market for a solution that better meets their expectations. And let's face it, it's not surprising that healthy people are looking to the simplified issue marketplace because of many factors, such as the lengthy underwriting process. When you take into consideration things like APSs, motor vehicle reports, the back and forth that can happen in clarifying the client's health history. It's uncomfortable to have a stranger come into the home and take your blood and urine. And also the questions that are asked in a traditional application can be very personal and hard to answer, let alone for the advisor to have to ask. So during our development process, we then look to understand how an advisor does business. And if we take a look at the sales process, not much has changed. Advisors will assess the need for the coverage with the client, then they'll assess their health, and most advisors can get a pretty good idea of the client's health with just asking a few questions, and you don't even need to really open the application. And then based on the first two steps, they'll determine the best product to suit the need of the client, and for some it's going to be price, and for others it's going to be convenience. So the sales process overall has evolved to take into consideration now the options consumers have. We take a look at the non-medical requirements. They're now offered at a higher pace than that. And yes, COVID has really had a factor into that and eating that up, I would say. But what you can see is that we've overlapped the simplified product offering with our non-med requirements. And you'll see that except for at base amounts about the 500,000 mark, the only factor that an advisor needs to consider is the time and possibly potential of having additional requirements requested if they go through the regular process. So based on our findings, we decided that we had an opportunity to really complement an already incredible product shelf. So now we can offer two great options to you and your clients. First, if the client wants a customized product and price is important, then you can choose to go through the traditional underwriting approach. But for those who want speed as well as convenience, we now have another great option that's only going to cost on average 3 to 15% more than our traditional offering. And based on our already competitive pricing that we have, we will often still be a competitive alternative to other traditional carriers. Now, there's lots of competition, and no product is all things to all people. But when it comes to a simplified issue product, you need to balance price, the number of questions, and time to delivery. And there's going to have to be some trade-offs along the way. So let's discuss that a bit more. So compared to our traditional product offering, whether it's whole life, term, male, female, smoker, non-smoker, you're going to find our new products are only on, like I said, on average, 3 to 15% more expensive. So if we take a look at a male non-smoker for the term, whether it's T10, T20, again, depending on the ages and the amounts, you'll see an average of 3 to 13% of an increase. And the same goes with the smoker. If we look at the whole life for both male and female non-smokers, again, an average increase of 3 to 15%. So we're competitively priced. But where you'll really find that we make a difference is with speed. So we realize there's an opportunity to simplify things for the advisor in terms of the number of questions asked. And we talked a little bit about that earlier. But also in how quickly the product can be delivered into the hands of the client. The number of questions is comparable to the competition. And that being said, it's more lenient and a faster application than you'll find with any traditional or non-medical application. So that's one way where we help the speed of the process. But where we chose to truly differentiate ourselves is with the policy delivery. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So as I said earlier, people typically don't wake up in the morning wanting to buy insurance. So when they finally decide to take on that responsibility, many want it done as quickly, efficiently, and painlessly as possible. In fact, we asked you, the advisor, whether speed would play a factor in your decision regarding an insurer, and you said, all things being more or less equal, I will recommend a product that can be delivered faster and more simply. So as I said earlier, with SSQ's simplified issue product, it isn't just about the speed for the approval or being accepted. We deliver in an hour or less from the application to policy delivery. So what does that mean for you? Well, SSQ's standard payment process is every business day, which already beats most insurers' standards. This may have less meaning for the policies that are fully underwritten through the traditional underwriting process, but when you combine delivery of our simplified products in an hour or less, this now means that you get paid at the end of every business day. And you're going to get paid more, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's take a closer look at the product offering now. So with our simplified and guaranteed issue product, you can expect it to be competitively priced, particularly at the face amounts above $100,000. Our compensation is very competitive, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And again, speed and lots of it. And again, it's not just about the speed for approval, but we deliver in an hour or less from the application to policy delivery. And again, faster policy delivery means faster commission payment. So taking a look at the plans available, we offer a simplified term 10, term 20, and whole life, and then a guaranteed issue whole life. You see on the base amounts available on the terms 10 and term 20 are up to $500,000, and on the whole life, $250,000. And then on the guaranteed issue is maximum $50,000. When we look at some of the benefits that are included, there's a couple that our traditional offering has that advisors have come to love that we've brought over to this product as well, such as our extreme disability benefit, which before the age of 60, should the client become extremely disabled, meaning they're unable to perform 4 out of the 6 activities of daily living, then we'll actually pay out 50% of the face amount up to $250,000. We also, you'll notice here, is the renewal periods are every 5 years after the initial term. So as an example, if your client does a term 20, once the term is complete, then it's going to be renewable every 5 years for the client rather than another 20 years. You'll also notice that there's no cash values, but we do offer competitive reduced paid up options for our whole life products. And the guaranteed issue product is a deferred death benefit product, but we pay in the event of an accident. So let's take a look at the price, and we'll start with our simplified whole life product. So here is how we compare in the marketplace with our whole life, and you can see we're very competitive. So this example here is for a male non-smoker with a $245,000 face amount. And in the various age groups were significantly lower than the competition by as much as 16%. And like I mentioned earlier, this product is priced where the higher the face amount, the more competitive we become. If we look at the same scenario for a female, again, face amount, $250,000, non-smoker. Again, in the various age groups, were significantly lower than the competition by as much as 17%. We take a look at our term rates. So in this example, for a male non-smoker, for a term 10 for $150,000 face amount, again, you'll see that we are significantly lower than the competition. Same example with a face amount of $300,000, and again, $500,000. Term 20, male, non-smoker, $150,000 face amount, again, significantly lower than the competition. $300,000 face amount, and $500,000 face amount. Same holds true with a female, same example, non-smoker, $500,000 on a term 10, just to show you that we are, again, significantly lower than the competition. And a term 20. We look at the smoker rates, again, I mentioned, not much changes. Same thing, still very competitive on both the male and female. And I'm not going to go through each example. I will show you when we're doing the live demonstration how you can quote this yourself. But let's get into the compensation of the product. So I told you that we are very competitive, even on the compensation aspect. You'll see here for our simplified issue whole life product, our FYC is on par with everybody else. And same with our renewals. But what you'll notice is that even after year 10, we still have a renewal of 2%. If you look at our term, again, the term 10, term 20, FYC, very competitive. Renewals on par and even better. And then after year 10, we still pay a renewal of 3%. So when we talk about speed, again, we don't shut down on the weekends. So if you're doing an application, whether it's during the week or on the weekend, the client is going to get that policy in under an hour. The only thing that I should note is that the commission payments are done daily except on the weekend. So will be processed on the following business day. And when it comes to our traditional products or our new simplified and guaranteed issue products, we just need the advisors to try us. We think that the speed and the compensation should provide enough incentive for the advisors to give us an opportunity to earn their business. But now that we've introduced our simplified and guaranteed issue product, you know, we talk about the similar questionnaire to the immediate issue products in the marketplace. We talk about the banding, which equals a more competitive pricing, the higher compensation. And again, the fact that you can't compete with the speed and being able to get that policy to the client in under an hour. We do have webinars, tutorials, all the marketing support is available for you on our website, and I'll show you where you can access all that information when we go into the live demo in a second. So feel free to take a look, watch our videos on how to complete the electronic application or how the product works. Or if you'd like, feel free to reach out to your sales team. We're always happy to answer your questions for you. And this is a sales team across Canada of all my wonderful colleagues that I do work with. I'll leave this up just for a second so you can copy down the information, the contact information, should you want to reach out to them. They are happy to answer all your questions and can definitely walk you through whether it's our new simplified and guaranteed issue product or any of our other product offerings as well. So with that said, I'm now going to pull up the website so I can go through the live demonstration for you and show you now that you learned about this product, how you can sell this product using our electronic application. Okay, so now hopefully you can see my screen. I am on our website, ssq.ca. And I've gone to the Simplified life insurance section. Now, this page is dedicated to our Simplified Life product that we just reviewed. Here's where you can get all details on the product, all the marketing support. Pretty much any questions that you have could be answered just from this section alone. And then at the very bottom, there is a promotional video, but more importantly, the webinar is down here for you, so you can take your time and go through it if you do miss something that I did talk about today. But getting into now completing the application, before doing so, probably one of the most general questions we get is how to quote this product. This product cannot be quoted in our standard illustration software and can only be quoted either by starting the electronic application itself or by going to our website and clicking on the Quick Premium Calculator. When you click on the Quick Premium Calculator, it's very straightforward, very easy to use. You just select the product that you want to quote, put in the details, and then it's going to generate the quote for you. In order to complete the electronic application, you click on Electronic Application Login, and now you're ready to begin. Now, for those of you that are contracted with SSQ, your username will always be your email address that is associated with SSQ. If you don't remember getting your password, or you forgot your password, or you're having trouble getting it, whatever the reason may be, you can easily reset that. And all you need to do is come to the same page, but right below you're going to enter your email address, again, that's associated with SSQ, your SSQ advisor code, select the language, and then hit reset. Once you do that, you will immediately get an email containing your password. Once you have your username and password, you can go ahead and log in. Now, once you log in to our main page, this is the screen you're going to see. Okay. Now you'll see a tab up here that says My Saved Application. So with our electronic application, whether it's our traditional product offering or our new simplified issue and guaranteed issue product, you can actually begin the application process and save it, and it will save under My Saved Application for 30 days. Okay, so as an example, if you're you know you're meeting a client this evening and the client has already given you the heads up that they don't have much time to get this done because they're very busy, you can then pre-fill as much of the application as you can, save it, and then when you're ready to complete the application with the client, you can then just come back to My Saved Application. And I'm going to do that in a second just to show you how that works. But if you come into a screen, and this is another issue that we get all the time, if you open up your screen and it says previous session down, close open session, just go ahead and click close open session, close call, and now begin a new session. When you click on new session, over here on the right-hand side under content, you will select whether you're doing our traditional life insurance product or our simplified product. Now, I also want to point out that this program is used by other carriers as well. So under the content, you may see another provider under here. So just make sure that you do choose SSQ insurance and the product that you're selling with SSQ. So when you're ready to begin the electronic application, you choose, again, whether you're going with the traditional product or the simplified product. And once you do, the first thing that's going to pop up is it's going to ask you if you're doing a face-to-face application or a non-face-to-face application. Okay. Now I'm just going to close this and go back and show you the saved applications. Okay. So if you do or if you have started an application because you know your client doesn't have much time and you've saved it, or maybe you were doing the application with the client got a call, they had to go, and you have to stop halfway through and you have to save it, and now you're ready to continue, you just go to My Saved Applications, you click on the green magnifying glass, open, and it will now bring you back into that application that you have started. Now, at any time during the application, you can actually switch from face-to-face to non-face-to-face. What I'm going to go through with you today is our non-face-to-face process, and I feel that that's important given the circumstances that we are in right now. But there's no difference as far as the process goes, except for the fact that if it's a face-to-face, then all the client or all you would be doing at the bottom, sorry, I'm just going back to face-to-face, is clicking the validate button. Now, when it comes to the non-face-to-face option, first thing that'll pop up is telling you the limitations of it and what needs to be completed, which you'll agree to. But also the client needs to follow along and agree to each section as you share it with them in order to proceed. Now, in order for them to proceed and agree to the sections and be able to share that screen with you, you need to provide them the URL. Now, the URL you will find here under the customer URL for your shared session is, and it's always the same web address, nsg6.com, okay? Now I'm gonna flip between screens to show you what the client sees as well, all right? So I'm gonna go back and forth between the client screen and the advisor screen. So if we go to the client screen and we enter that web address, the client now sees this. It's gonna ask them for a code. So now going back to the advisor screen, I'm going to give them what's called call code that you'll find right here at the top under the SSQ logo. Now don't memorize this code because this code changes every time you log into the electronic application. So for this example, the call code is 140. So going back to the client screen, as the advisor, I'll tell them to enter 140 and hit submit. And now it's going to tell them that the content will be shown on this page as I send it to them. So now we can begin. And I should also point out before I get into this is that our electronic application is 100% web-based, meaning that you as well as your clients can access this and share the session on any web-based product, whether it's a tablet, cell phone, laptop. As long as they have access to the web, you're able to access this application. And I've played around with it and done examples on various different platforms, and I haven't had any issues on any of them, including my cell phone. Okay. So now continuing with the application, the client's ready for the information to be sent to them. I'm now going to begin the application, which essentially is the paper application, just in electronic form. Okay. So we're confirming that this application doesn't replace any individual policy in force, the purpose of the insurance. We're going to confirm that they're Canadian citizen or permanent resident and that they live in Canada. And then below that is going to be the broker disclosure. Once you filled out or checked off everything, you're going to send to the client to confirm. If you miss anything, don't worry. There's a little box that's going to pop up. It's going to tell you to look for the little red star that's flashing, and that's what you've missed. We'll go up. We can see that the language is missed. We just got to check it off, and now send to the client to confirm. When we send to the client to confirm, we're going to get this box that tells us that we're waiting for the client to confirm. Now switching over to the client screen, this is what's going to pop up on the client screen. Anything in red is essentially what we checked off and the client would need to agree to. Okay? Once the client looks over the information and everything looks correct, they would hit I agree. And then on our screen, the flashing box is gone. We get a check mark here at the top, and we can now move on by hitting next. We then put in the client's information, and in this example, John Smith, whether he's a smoker, non-smoker, gender, date of birth, email address. And then it's very important, if you're going to remember one thing from the example that I'm going through right now, is that when you do the client's information, whether it's the simplified product or a traditional product offering, you need to do a client search. Once you do the client search, it's going to check if a client is already a client of SSQ. So they may already be a group client with SSQ as an example and not even know it, and their information may already be on the system. Whatever the situation is, you have to do a client search. It'll most likely show you no matching clients in which you can just X out of it. If you go through this and you do not do a client search, it's going to cause problems at the very end and will not let you to actually submit the application. So again, if you're going to remember one thing that I'm saying here today, it's very important that you do the client search after you enter the client's information. Once you've done that, you can now continue on, enter. If there's a contingent owner, you would just push the green arrow down and enter the information. Otherwise, we're going to send to the client to confirm. We're waiting for the confirmation. The client gets this information pop up on the screen that they need to review and make sure it looks okay, and then press I agree. Now, if a client says to you, well, you said that I'm a non-smoker, but I actually am a smoker, just as an example. On the advisor screen, we can then cancel what we've sent to the client. We can go up, change our answer, and then resend to the client to confirm. The client's waiting, it pops up on the screen, and now the change has been made. Once the client looks it over, everything looks good, they hit I agree. And now on the advisor page, we get the green check mark that the client's confirmed, and we can continue on. Next, in this example, for our simplified product and guaranteed issue product is the qualification page and the questions. So we would answer all the questions which are pre-filled out already. Okay, and if you do want a copy of these questions, we do have it in PDF form that we can send to you, or you can just log into the electronic app and take a look at all the questions. But then you go through all the tobacco questions, marijuana usage, drug usage, alcohol usage, height, weight. Once you've done all that, now we're going to select the product. Okay, so whether it's simplified or guaranteed issue. Now, I just want to point out that if you are answering the questions and you answer a question that doesn't qualify for a simplified product, a little box will pop up and tell you that the client, based on this information, does not qualify for this product, but will qualify for our guaranteed issue product, or they can try going the traditional route as well. In this example, I'm going to choose the simplified terms for a term 20, or let's say 200,000. And then don't worry about entering the premium. We're going to calculate it for you. And in order to do that, all you need to do is click on calculate. And then it's going to calculate the monthly and annual premiums. And then will allow you to make the illustration right on the spot. So to do that, you just click on the Make Illustration button. It'll then make a blue link here for you to click on, which is the illustration itself. And then you can actually send that illustration directly to the client. Okay? Once you've done that, you send to the client to confirm. The client must be classified as a non-smoker. It's correct in the identification section. So on the initial page, I changed it from smoker to non-smoker, but then on here, I put that the client has never smoked. So if something doesn't add up, it will stop you and have you correct it. So here we'll just say he smoked less than 1 per month, just as an example. And now send update the coverage. And now send to the client to confirm. Again, the client's waiting. Then it's going to pop up showing in the plan, the base amount, the premiums, and then the answers to all the questions that we went through. And of course, we didn't go through them just for time's sake, but you would go through those with the client, and everything in red is what we would have answered. The client just needs to look that over. As long as everything looks okay, they would then agree to it. And now we can continue on because we got the green check mark that we're good to go. Next is John's details. So it's place of birth, address, which you can do a postal code search and look up the address. Enter all the information, including the occupation, and then the identity of the client. And once we have all that information, we can again then send to the client. The client's waiting there on their screen. It pops up. Everything in red is what they need to look over, make sure it all looks okay, and then click I agree. Once they've done so, we're going to get the green check mark, and we can continue on to the next section, which is the beneficiary section. I'm not going to complete the beneficiary section for today, but in order to do so, again, you just drop the green arrow, fill out the details, send to the client to confirm, and then we can continue on. Otherwise, we can hit next. We're on the payment of premiums. So the client can either choose monthly or annually, okay? And as far as the payment goes, they can choose to have the monthly come from their pre-authorized debit from their account, which we'll take as soon as we get the application submitted, or from the credit card. Now, the credit card option on our traditional offering can only be used for the first month's premium which would be 1/12 of the annual premium. For this product, if the client wishes to pay the whole annual payment on the credit card, they can do so. Okay. When they want the, which will also be done if they're doing it on a monthly pack, then we can do that at the issue date, or they can specify the day that they wish for the premiums to be withdrawn. Is the account a joint account? Say no. And John Smith is the account holder. And then you would enter the banking details. Again, you can do the postal code search for the client's banking information and enter in all their bank account numbers. Once we've done that, again, we send to the client to confirm. The client is waiting. Pops up on the screen. Everything in red is what they need to review and make sure it looks okay. And then, of course, they need to validate that the banking details is correct and hit I agree. Once they've done so, we'll get the green check mark that everything is good, and then we can continue on to the next screen, which, of course, is the most important screen, which is the signature page. In order to do that, we need to generate the signature requirements, which is going to bring up all the disclosures. And at the very bottom of the disclosures and authorizations, we're going to enter where the application was signed. And then we're going to send to the client to confirm. When the client gets this page, they're going to see all the authorizations and declarations there. But then at the bottom, they're going to see 3 computer-generated signatures. Now, of course, not one of these signatures is their actual signature, but they're going to choose one of those signatures. And once they've read through all the authorizations, they're going to click I agree. When they click on the I agree button, a box is going to pop up that reminds them that by them clicking OK, this is the client handwriting their signature on this application. Once the client agrees to that and they're OK with it, they'll click OK. And as we're waiting there, we'll get the green check mark, the client's confirmed, and we're good to go. And then the next section in regards to our simplified product will be the MIB check. So I'm not going to do that today just because I'm not going through a real application, but you would click on the MIB check. As long as it comes back clean, it'll tell you that you're good to proceed and submit the application. Okay. Once we've done that, again, we send to the client to confirm, and we can move on. Before we go on to the next page, then we'll choose the policy delivery, and if the client wishes to receive it electronically, in which we'll say yes. And then we need to generate the access code. Now, when we generate this access code, it is valid for 10 days. And this access code is what the client is going to use in order to retrieve their application that they're going to get in under an hour. Okay? So what you can do in order to pass this information on or give the client the code is obviously you can tell them this code over the phone, but you can also send them a text message by entering their phone number, and it'll text them their code. Again, the code is valid for 10 days, and then it does expire. So if for some reason the client doesn't retrieve their policy in that 10-day time frame, then let your sales team know, and we'll be able to help you retrieve that. Once we've done that, we can hit next. And lastly, we're going to be on the financial advisor's report that you'll fill out. Any comments that you need to include in there. If you were to split this case, you can do so by clicking Add an Advisor, put in their code, and you can find the advisor and put the split, whatever that split may be, as long as it equals up to 100%, of course. And then once you've done that, you need to check off that you verify the banking details and understand that SSP may ask for proof of the client's identification at any time. Once you've done that, you're going to click on Make PDF. And it's not going to allow me to do this example just because I mentioned about the MIB check. But once you do click on Make PDF, what it's going to do is generate 2 links for you of the application that you just went through with the client. The first link is the one that you will need to open and save for your files. It is, again, the application that you just went through with the client. And then once you've done that, there's going to be a button that says Submit Application to SSQ. And once you hit submit, it will also give you the confirmation that it has been submitted successfully. There's no need to send anything afterwards to your NGA because SSQ will automatically send a copy of the report to your NGA. So there's nothing that's needed in that regard. And then, like I said, for this new product, the Simplified Guarantee Issue product, the client will have that policy delivered to them in under an hour. In order to retrieve that, they would just use that 10-digit code. Going back again, and I can't submit it just because of the MID section, but like I said, it's very important. If you do get to the end page and you're having difficulty, if something's not, it's not allowing you, or if this button's not here to make PDF, it's most likely because you did not click on the client search in the identification page. So please make sure to click on the client search and search for the client, even if they're not a client of SSQ already. Just do that client search to make sure. That is all as far as the demonstration goes on how to use the e-app. Like I said, the only difference between the face-to-face and the non-face-to-face is instead of it saying send to the client to confirm, it would just say validate, and you would just validate every section. Okay? And again, that goes for our traditional product offering as well as our simplified and guaranteed issue product offering. If you do have any questions about the product itself, again, the best place to go is on the simplified product page of our website, where again, you'll find all the marketing pieces that you need, all the information about the product itself, and again, more importantly, at the bottom, the tutorial on how to use the electronic application. Just to repeat again, if you don't remember your password or how to log in, you can do that yourself and have it reset immediately by going to the login page and just entering your email address that's on file with SSQ, your SSQ advisor code, selecting the language, and then hitting the reset button. So that's it for the live demonstration, as well as the presentation on our new simplified and guaranteed issue product. For those of you already selling the product or have maybe tried the product already, thank you for that. We do appreciate it. For those of you that are now interested or think it may be a fit for your clients, give us a try or get in touch with your sales team. Allow us to quote that for you, or feel free to go on our website and quote it yourself to see how competitive we are. But if you do have any questions, like I said, put it into the Q&A. We're trying to get to as many as we can. Whatever we don't get to today, we'll be happy to respond via email very shortly for you. So what I'm going to do is switch it back over to the sales team slide. So that way you can get the information, if you haven't gotten it already, for your local sales team to reach out. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them and they'll be happy to get that information over to you or walk you through our products and electronic application. So thank you very much for your time today. Again, I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe and healthy, and we look forward to getting together with you in the near future in person so we can sit down and have a coffee and go through these products in a bit more detail. But in the meantime, we'll have to do it over the phone and over the computer to help as best we can. So again, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us today. And I wish you all the best and a successful rest of the year. Thank you.